What is happening, guys? Martin is back again. You know where we are, so let's get into it. So, guys, without further ado, my scent of the day was Armaf, and this is TagHim, and this is the Prestige Edition. This one, guys, I managed to get for around about £20 or so. I've had this in my collection, and I've not actually worn this in the office until today. In respect quickly of the bottle, you can see it's got this type of sort of leather type of thing at the side. The cap itself is supposed to be magnetic, but it seems to be very weak. So for instance, if you had this in your bag, this will probably fall off relatively easily. The sprayer, however, is not bad. Quite a lot of distribution on there. And yeah, information on the bottom. But there we go. So let's get into it, guys. So I've done actually a comparison between the two. This is actually a clone of this one, which is obviously Paco Rabanne's 1 million. This, you can see how much juice I have left in this bad boy. But this one, guys, is not bad for £20. Now, I've actually seen this one. This is 100ml. I've actually seen 50ml for around about £20, £25 as well. So it depends what you're doing. But it is possible to get 100ml or at least 100ml of around about £30 even if you're lucky. So I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way necessarily to buy this one. But that being said, I would try and make sure that if I see a bargain, I'll pick one up. So just in respect of this one, guys, this is probably the first day I've worn this in the office now, and the compliments were there straight away. Probably within about a day of, say, wearing this for probably around 5 hours, I was easily getting at least good 3 to 4 hours of projection quite easily. This is a really good fragrance on its own. If you don't really want to get into it in respect of the brightness and the maybe that bubblegum vibe, this one is a slightly more subdued. This one is still going to give you that 1 million feeling, but it's slightly more, I'd say, more adult in comparison to the actual original 1 million. Now, in respect of the actual breakdown in the notes, there's not really much by variation, and to the untrained nose, I would say probably most people wouldn't necessarily know. As I say, the grapefruit is in there. The blood orange is one of the keynotes, which is in there. The cinnamon's in there. Bergamot, pepper, and amber in the base with some woodsy notes in the base, and vanilla and some patchouli. Now, when I'm looking at 1 million, the only real difference I see seems to be in respect of the mid notes, which seems to relate to rose and some form of peppery notes or spicy peppery notes. But besides that, there is a slight difference, slight variation. The Drydown, I've sprayed it on each hand, but most people wouldn't necessarily know the difference. I think the variation comes in the Drydown. The Drydown on this one seems to maintain a little bit more of that type of, let's say, that youthful vibe, a bit more sweeter, a bit more in your face. That grapefruit note is still pretty much there in the Drydown. This one, however, I think is slightly, as I say, slightly more mature in a way. It's not exactly the same fragrance, but most people wouldn't know the difference anyway. But this one, guys, for what it is, the Drydown becomes slightly like a sweet but type of soapy vibe. That's the only thing I pick up on. The actual opening, this is a good fragrance. Don't get me wrong. Armaf do a fantastic job in what they do. And if you want to try and save some of your money, probably this is something to consider. I know we talk about Zara fragrances all day, guys, but please do not sleep on this house. This house can also, for the cost of spending £20 for a Zara fragrance, this house could also do it for you as well. For me, you can see the distribution, what's coming out on there. The open is there, that blast of that grapefruit. Even as if to say there's like a peppery sort of ginger note in there as well. The cinnamon's in there. It's a nice fragrance, and it does smell like 1 million. I think it's very difficult to distinguish between the two if you were just spraying them randomly and didn't necessarily know. But it's just the Drydown is slightly different. As I say, it slightly goes along the line of a mature type of vibe, less in your face, less aggressive, and it's less, I would say, not necessarily loud, but that's sort of the way that's the only real way I can describe it. It's definitely not a bad fragrance, and I would give this out of 4 out of 5 when it comes to doing a comparison of the two. I think this is a good, very good version of 1 million if that's what they've gone for. And I think this one, especially with respect of longevity, this one gave me at least 4 hours. Now also, this is not one which I think you would wear necessarily for the club, but you could do. I prefer to go for this one for the club because it's going to be a little bit louder, but this one, quite easily wear this for the office. The projection's still there, and again, I was getting a good 4 hours. The Drydown is only slightly more soapier in comparison to this one, but again, they're not exactly the same fragrance. I'd say this one is probably about 80% of the same fragrance, so you can't really go wrong if you pick this one up. You saved a lot more money. Yes, you don't have the brand name, but that's how it goes sometimes. So that was my review, guys, of this one. This is Tag for Him. If there's anything else, guys, you want to suggest, you guys have suggested some reviews of 9.0, which I can easily do a review of. I've got a bottle of that from the older batch of bottles, which I don't think has been reformulated, and also 8.0, which from the older batch of bottles as well, guys. So thank you very much, guys, for the comments, the likes, and subscriptions. I hope this has saved you some money, and I do hope that you do enjoy the videos. If you do like the videos, please do not forget to give the channel a thumbs up. It costs nothing at all. And also do not forget to share and like the video and subscribe if you've not done already, and we get some more of these fragrances to you shortly. Ciao.